Coach Mox, Missouri State. That's really all you need to know. This is a team that's won 7 in a row. They've won 22 games and they've only lost 5, 3 in conference play. And all 3 losses that you've suffered in conference play, Coach Mox, you've already avenged those losses. I know the second time around, nobody wants to face you. How's it going in Springfield?
Great. Just so proud of our group. Our kids have been so resilient. We've been hit with adversity after adversity after adversity. Obviously, lost our starting 2 post players. And honestly, I don't know another team in the country that can lose their starting 2 post players and still be like pursuing championships. That's a big deal. And, one starting captain and, just our glue, that's Abby Hip, lost her 4 games in. And then we lost Jazz, who was a potential All-American, definitely would have been player of the year in our conference and leading scorer, leading rebounder in December. So, we just to regroup, figure out our new identity, and, our kids were just open to anything and they just trusted the process, and we've been getting better and better. So I'm just super proud of them.
When you face that kind of adversity, when, fortunately for you, you have some depth, most teams don't have that kind of depth, but how have you been able to reinvent your team? The injuries were in the beginning third of the season. Now we're, in the second third, you're getting ready for the third part of your season. How are you able to recover from those injuries?
It was difficult. Like I said, Abby Hip, she was 4 games in, and then Jazz was in December. So that was pretty early. So right after Christmas break, I kind of reinvented our offense a little bit, made it more guard oriented because we were short on post players. We literally had 2 true post players, and one that hadn't even played significant minutes at all, and then Abby Jackson, who had played minutes but needed to step into a bigger role. So I kind of just reinvented the offense and made it more guard oriented. And we were still struggling to score because we've been struggling to shoot the ball from the outside. So there were still struggles there. And then, early in conference season, we had our starting point guard out for a few games with a bad sprained ankle. And then we had some COVID protocol stuff. So we played multiple games without starters, without key bench players, limited numbers. So it was hard to get a rhythm with the team because people were in and out. And then here of late, probably the last 2 weeks or so, we've had our full group back and been able to kind of get that synergy going and camaraderie on the court. But, we went back to our original offense once Jen Eze was cleared from her, ACL recovery. She's a transfer from Duke, 6'3", 6'4" kid, and she added depth in that post player spot. So we were able to kind of go to our original offense because now we had more bigs. Now we still only have 3. The 2 that we had before with Abby Jackson and Naya Wachuku, they were foul prone bigs. So it was like, I couldn't play them together, which we typically play 2 bigs together just because we needed subs. So once Jen came around, I think we got into a better rhythm with how we want to play offensively. But I felt like I was reinventing the wheel a little bit there, just trying to figure out what can work, how we can score the ball. But one thing that remained the same from beginning of the year to the end, and why we've won a lot of games, is our defense and rebounding. That's been stellar all year.
When you have to change midstream what you're doing from 2 low posts to having injuries, and then you're trying to make it more guard oriented. So I'm guessing you try to pick up the pace and make it a little bit faster, and then now you can come back. What's the advantages of having been required to teach your team how to play 2 different ways, and how they can help you when you get to the NCAA tournament? Because whether you win the Missouri Valley Conference tournament or not, you could be an at-large bid. And that's going to matter when you get to tournament seeding and who you play and what the matchups are. How much can that help your team be more versatile?
I think it's going to help a lot. And it's already helped, here in the second part of our conference season, because, in our conference, a lot of times, we may see a 4-guard lineup from the opposing team. So we now comfortable if we need to go to the lineup, or if we need to guard 2 bigs, which when we were in a 4-guard lineup and we were guarding teams that have traditional 2 bigs, it hurt us, because we just didn't have the depth in the post spot. But now we can match up with that. So I think we have a couple of different lineups we can go to and just showcase our versatility, and kids are confident now having some game experience in those roles. And so that's just going to help us. And right now we're projected a 10 seed. I think our net is 39. So if we just continue to finish out the regular season strong, I think we're in. But we want to win championships. We want to cut down some nets. So that's our focus. And, hopefully that'll propel us into the NCAA tournament. But I think that we have a versatile lineup on offense and defense that can match up with the teams in the country.
You guys have won 2 regular season titles. Now you're getting ready for one more weekend of conference play before you go to the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. So what does your team need to look like going into the conference tournament? You've got 2 more games before you get there, but in your mind, what do you see for your team as you're moving forward? Like, we got this, you're not looking past the weekend, obviously, but there's certain things that your team has to do well to be able to win 3 days in a row.
For sure. I need our bench to be, productive and continue to be confident. I think, championship teams or NCAA teams that go on runs are deep and they're able to spell some people. So we can't just have, our starters or starting 6 or 7, whatever group, be the ones we ride with. I think we have some kids on the bench that have matured through all this adversity, and I need them to contribute, and our team needs them to contribute. So that's one of the biggest things. And then just being confident on the offensive end. Obviously, we had our offensive woes throughout the course of the season. We weren't shooting the ball the best, we weren't finishing the best, but now that's all coming together. Offense has been a big time emphasis probably here in this last month, especially because, I told them, as we were having those woes throughout the course of the season, I'm like, we'll get better, just trust the process, trust the plan. We don't need to be playing our best basketball right now until the middle of February, moving into late February, March. So now is the time we should be peaking, and I think we are. Offensively, we're night and day from what we were, especially in the beginning of the conference season. And then defensively, we've been, stellar all year. So we got to keep up that side of the ball as well. And I think that, that'll give us a good chance to make a run.
Mox, look, you're no rookie to this. This is your 3rd year as a head coach, but you've been around the game a long time. So you've had lots of opportunity. I know, because your name isn't a lot of things. And before you took the Missouri State job, you had other opportunities, but you decided this was the one for you. Why did you decide that for you and your family, that this was the right time for you to take a head job at this level?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm a God, driven person, God-fearing person, I guess you say. And so I pray about everything before I do it and just try to follow, because I just believe, everything's already written anyway. So just keeping my faith in the forefront, and my family. There were certain opportunities that came around that were good. They were good for other people. They just didn't really feel right for me. When Missouri State called, it was like a no-brainer. Obviously, people know the success and the tradition here and all that, but for me, it was first and foremost the administration. Kyle Moats, our AD here, he's just, first class. He's awesome. And just the rest of the administration, our president, Cliff Smart, everybody, SWA, Casey Hunt, and then, the tradition, obviously, and what's been, built here, and legacies that have been left, but then the fans and supporters, the resources, the facilities, everything, just was a place that I felt like I could thrive in. I could recruit here. We could be successful. And then also this community, I felt like it was a community that I could impact in a positive way, and needed somebody like me to come in and do that. And then also a community that can impact me and my family, and a great place to raise my son. So it just seemed like all around, it was just a home run for me. And, if you let Kyle and them tell it, they felt like it was a home run as well. So I think it was a happy marriage on both ends.
I can't thank you enough, Coach Mox from Missouri State, for spending some time with us. And I wish you well in the final week of the Missouri Valley regular season before you head to the Quad Cities for the Missouri Valley Tournament, which should be outstanding. There's so many good teams in the league this year, including yours. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Debbie.